Hello everyone and welcome back to Garden Profiler. Today I'm taking a break from the garden to work on this chair. It's one piece of a 5-piece sectional. I want to reupholster it because the material is disintegrating and I loved it. I didn't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to try to reupholster it and see if I could give it another life. So here we're just stripping out all the old material from it. Being careful, of course, not to rip the cushions, the padding, and the backing because we're going to reuse those. So in this second life that I'm giving the chair, I want the cushions to be tufted. So I'm going to add some wood to the seating of the chair. I didn't take out these squiggly metal things, the springs, because I may redo that chair again in the future and I didn't want the problem of having to find the springs and to putting them back. So I'm just going to put the wood right on top of it, secure it in place with some screws like that. Now I'm going to take the chair inside to reupholster it. I just have the fabric draped from the front back all the way down to underneath the chair because I need to leave a little extra space for staples. This does not include the back cushion, by the way. If you want to include the back cushion in this step, then you'd have to put the cushion in place and then drip the material over it like this. But I'm going for a more contoured look, so I'm doing it separately. So let's work on the side panels now. So we just took a piece of material, put it against the chair, the side of the chair, and drew the outline, on the wrong side of material, drew the outline of the chair with a piece of chalk, like this. So go ahead and cut out that chalk outline. And now you have one side panel. You could use that one side panel duplicate to do the other side as well. So I'm just measuring a couple of times and then I'm going to pin it in place. I want a nice snug contoured fit for the back of the chair. So I'm going to take my time with this one. So I'm going to get all the pins in place so when I take it to the sewing machine it should be pretty easy. If you don't have a sewing machine, this part could be hand sewn because it's not that complicated, simple stitch. So this is what the back of the chair would look like. Nice and contoured. So I'm just securing it underneath the cushion now and underneath the chair, pulling tightly so we have not too many pleats or gathers. So pull it, give it a little stretch and staple it underneath the chair. Move any wrinkles or pleats as you go. I'm going to secure the sides now. Moving wrinkles as I go. Now this side I did it a little too big, so I will have a pleat at the back, but that's okay. I can live with that. Secure it underneath the chair as you go. Now once you're satisfied you have it taut and secured, you can move on to the cushion now. Now this cushion had 4 pre-drilled holes already. So I'm just going to sink some screws into those pre-drilled holes. Now I'm cutting extra fabric and I'm sinking the screw in the extra fabric before I start to screw it in the chair. That's so I could cover the top of the screws until I find a suitable button, so then you won't see the top of the screws. So the back end of the fabric for the cushion is stapled underneath the cushion and then draped over. When I said I'm going to sink the material, a little piece of extra fabric into the screw before, and in this hole there was a cushion, there was some backing in the way, so it was a little difficult. So I had to go out and clear anything that was in the way of the screw and just go and secure that in place. just use the extra fabric to cover the head. So now we have all 4 done. We could go on to the next step, which is the side panels of the seat. So I draped the fabric over, and I'm going to cut off the excess. I deliberately left excess because I didn't know how much the tufts would take. So now that the tufts have been done, I could cut out and feel confident. So I'm just going to pull the sides and staple it in place. Pulling as you go and stapling. One side panel, top side panel. For the corners, I don't recommend you doing your corners this way, but I just pleated on either side of the corner and stapled it down. And I'm going to use glue to secure the opening. I don't recommend you doing your corner like that, because now I don't like it. If you're finding this content useful so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Thank you. So we're going to go to the other side and give you a closer look at how I did the side panel. So make sure you have enough fabric to drape over the staples and underneath the chair. So I folded the sides and stapled from the top like this. My staples are not going all the way into the wood, but I'm making it work. So now I'm just pulling the fabric over and under the chair and keep pulling and stapling in place. I start in the middle and I'm working my way out, like on either side. So these staples, sorry, that didn't go into the wood and they were protruding. I just took a hammer and I hit them down. And now I'm going to cut off any excess fabric from underneath the chair, trying to give it a neat look from underneath. I'm going to do that all the way around. So now you could see the sides and the back. So I'm just going to go ahead here and add any staples just to make sure that it's nice and taut, and clean off any excess fabric. And then I'm going to move on to the trim. For the trim, I'm using like a rope cording, and I'm taking 3 strands of that and I'm going to braid it together. And I will show you that in the upcoming clip. So here we have 3 strands. I'm using a short piece of the cording just so you could have an example of how to do a braid if you don't know how to do it yet. And now is a good time to hit that subscribe button. When you're braiding, always remember to pull one strand all the way out, like run your fingers all the way out to the end, and that will release it from the other 3 so it won't get knotted up. So just like I'm doing here in this video, just pull it all the way out to the end to release any knots. Now this is the braid completed, and I have enough to go all the way around the chair. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover those staples that are showing, and that so make it look neater. And I'm using a hot glue gun to secure it in the trim in place. Now once I got the trim done, I'm going to move on to the dust cloth underneath the chair. It's pretty. Just make sure it's secured on all 4 sides. And I'm just going with a soldering iron, and I'm making holes for where the legs should be. I hope that's the name of the thing, soldering iron. Now with all 4 legs in place, trim done, side panels done, my last step is to work on the back cushion, which is here. Now just like I did for the side panels, drape it over, mark out the sides, cut it out, and take it to the sewing machine. I'm going to do the same process for the back cushion. And if you watch my video up to this point, I'd like to thank you for sticking with me. And I hope that my directions was simple enough that it inspired you to actually try to reupholster a chair that you loved. So outline the side with chalk. Cut it out and take it to the machine. So once you have one side cut out, you could use that as your template for the other side. So just lay it on your fabric and cut it out. So now you'd have 2 sides done. So this is what the chair looked like before. And now this is what we have. What do you think? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.